Yeah, I think I know. I think you and I talked about the Tocchet thing, but I think that where do we want to start here? Let's start with let's start with well, yeah, let's start with Rick Tocchet. I think you and I talked about this too. I think Philly's the destination for him, especially with New York being off the board. I think the only other options potentially maybe Boston because I believe he did play there, and then yeah, I don't know, but I think Tocchet's going to Philly. What do you think of that?
I know why everyone thinks he's going there. But if I'm him and I have a proven track record, and respectfully, he
Mhm.
took the Canucks from a really bad situation to one of their best seasons in recent memory. And
Mhm.
it
Yeah,
was incredible with what he did with that team. I think he won the Jack Adams, right?
he did. Yeah, he won the
Yeah,
Jack
so
Adams. Yeah.
he won the Jack Adams. I don't think he's going to want to position himself on a team like the Flyers, which are definitively worse than the Canucks were when he took over their team.
Mhm.
They just lack so much high end talent at the center ice position, and they don't have a true number one D man. When they traded Cutter Gauthier away, they got Jamie Drysdale, and he basically turned out to be like Shane Gostisbehere.
Yeah, that's right. Good comparison, but great comparison. Yeah.
So it's like they really lack so much. And I know he has so much ties to the Flyers, but it's like I can't see a guy like that with his caliber of coaching ability and reputation settling going there. I think maybe LA Kings.
Okay,
I
that's
think that's a
interesting.
sneaky team in the
Yeah.
aspect of they're pretty set up like before Kopitar retires. I mean, they're pretty
Mhm.
set up well for the future as well, but I think he's probably would look at that team and say, I could probably make a real run with this team in the next 1 to 2 years with this core.
Problem is though, they don't have a GM right now, and I wonder if is he going to wait around that long for a job? Like I get it, trust me. My understanding is Taka lives in Vegas, so any sort of like anything. But then we've also heard that he's got family back east and all this stuff. That's the first I've heard of LA. I understand where you're coming from. It's definitely a better setup, and there's obviously a lot of things that come out of Taka leaving the Canucks as well because people are like, oh well, does he know something we don't that Quinn Hughes is leaving, or is it just too hard to go in a Canadian market or whatever? I don't know. There's a lot of different theories coming of it. I have my own theory, and I'll mention that in a sec. But yeah, I think the LA thing could work. I just think that the timing might not work out because they got to find a GM first, and then that GM's got to come in and decide if that's where he wants to go. Some other candidates, Pittsburgh, they don't have a coach. Obviously, getting rid of Mike Sullivan. Tocchet used to coach there as an assistant. He could potentially come back. You get to work with Sidney Crosby again. There's some options there. I mentioned Boston. He did play for Boston, by the way. I just looked that up. Yeah, I don't know. I think again we've heard this is the only information we have. He has family back east. We know that Philly would like roll out the red carpet for him if he wanted to go there. I agree with you though. It's not much of a better situation in Philly than it is in Vancouver. So there's that. But it's like that's the team he played for. There's a lot of pride. I can understand that aspect too. Other than that, like I don't think there's any other teams really, unless something happens in the second round. Like there was some talk maybe Jared Bendenar was going to be gone from Colorado. McFarland came out and said that's not happening. Same thing with John Cooper in Tampa Bay. Julian Breezewalk came out. No, he's our coach. So those could have been options too. But I think if I'm a betting man, I'm going to go Philly. But I will come on here and give you full marks if he does do something crazy and go to LA. But I don't know. I think it would have to be, he'd have to get paid. I know that's part of it too, but I also think it's got to be the right situation. And LA does fit that mold. I just wonder right now with them not having a GM, unless they get something soon, I don't know if that's going to happen. So we'll see where Rick Tocchet goes. Joel Quenneville, there's all this talk that he's coming back this year. We know all the issues that happened in Chicago and him getting fired from Florida. I'm hearing Anaheim because I guess Pat Verbeek's, I know he's the GM there. There's some tie to Quenneville and Pat Verbeek, and I'm trying to remember where it's from. I might actually have to go look up Pat Verbeek's record here, where the tie is there. But have you been hearing that? I'm hearing Quenneville in Anaheim.
Yeah, I think he's got to go to a market that's not a lot of media pressure, especially coming back from the situation in which he had been not coaching in the NHL for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I feel like the teams that would profile to where he would go are similar to like maybe in Anaheim before we got Dean Evison. I would say even Columbus would have been because the media aren't going to be on him like that. And I
Mm-hmm.
think exactly like you said, the Anaheim Ducks, they just profile to perfectly be a team where he's going to fly under the radar and not get bombarded by media. He's not going to Chicago. He's not going to Boston. He can't go to any of these Canadian teams. Like they're going to like make his life a living hell over there answering media questions.
Mm-hmm.